Hey, welcome to the Runaways podcast. My name is Cody. We are back for another week. And yes, we're still here doing flesh and blood stuff, even though it feels like everyone has left us. I think no one is playing the game right now. Everyone's on their little break, but we're still here. There's a bajillion things to still talk about, stuff going into the next year. We're still getting spoilers cards that are coming out as well, which are pretty cool. But before we get into that, I have seen, Noah, that you've been playing Baldur's Gate 3. Besides playing Baldur's Gate 3, have you put any thought into our flesh and blood?
So Discord is amazing. I really like the fact that you have like a community, you get to see what your friends are up to, but also it just airs out all your dirty laundry. So yes, Cody makes sure that he's aware of all my video game time that I that I dedicate every time I'm not playing FAB. It never puts Talishar on there, but it'll show me when I'm playing PoE, playing Baldur's Gate, listening to music, etc. But yeah, so playing FAB, I just keep playing KO, despite the fact that Dalton thinks everybody who plays KO should be cast into the fires of hell.
And he's right.
What's up?
I mean, he's right.
No, but you don't understand, Fino. You're not allowed to be mad because I banned scab skins. So like KO is not that cringe now.
But you literally didn't. One KO I face had scabs. Wrong.
Yeah, but that's not a real person. Sorry.
I agree. Group players aren't real people.
Yeah, fair. Okay, but anyways, I've just been playing KO. Nothing too crazy. We have a 1K coming up this weekend, and then Seattle in a couple weeks. So I've kind of dipped my toes into the Sage format to see if I scrub out and end up playing in the Sage Battle Hard and what deck I want to be playing. And there definitely seems to be some strong things in that format that I'm sure we'll get into later in the podcast. But yeah, as of right now, just playing KO until either ban list changes or something else changes in the format, and I have to reevaluate.
Makes sense. Now, for people who are uncultured and do not know who is on the podcast right now, this is Austin. He top aided Kansas City, also known as Lucas's dad, if you frequent the Discord any amount of time. But Austin, I know you have put some time into Silver Age, and you actually want to talk about Silver Age as well. Did pretty well at Worlds playing Gravy, someone that we've been working with on the Gravy deck as well. But how has your week in FAB been? If you want to introduce yourself, feel more than free to introduce yourself. I know it's your first time on the podcast.
Hi, everybody. My name's Austin. My week in FAB was pretty reasonable. I didn't play a ton, but I did jam some Talishar games with locals on in Silver Age. Just trying to get a good feel for the format, like what's good, what's bad, what's cringe. I've kind of noticed Guardian's pretty cringe, but 20 life formats and 30 confidence or dominate's pretty good. I don't know. It's fun, kind of exploring. Even though it's like a limited card pool, some decks can still do some like pretty powerful stuff. I'm trying to wrap my head around enjoying a 20 life format. Usually outside of draft, like I never really liked Blitz for that reason. It felt like, you kind of just died, and I didn't really enjoy that. I kind of like when games get to go a bit longer, and I guess 20 life formats don't always lend themselves to that. I've been learning Dio and Mario just for fun. I feel like in my downtime, I really like to like put time into like decks I haven't really touched a whole lot, and those are two that I think are like right on the cusp of being broken. So pretty just kind of taking it easy after Worlds. I spent a lot of time prepping, so it's kind of nice to not just grind.
Makes sense. You and I have played 0 Silver Age, so they're probably going to educate us a little bit later on the podcast, and maybe about some of these things. But how has your week of not playing Silver Age, just like me, been in FAB?
I've done a little watching of Silver Age. I've jumped in the Discord that some of my locals are in, and just kind of watch them play, and just like give my thoughts every now and then of like, I don't know, this card seems strong, or like I'm surprised this card isn't on the ban list, and then just like watching them throw shit at the wall, just kind of vicariously living the format through them. But I'm planning on like starting to look at the format in like a week or so, because I'm not planning on going to Seattle, so I don't really care right now. I'm probably going to do like A to Z type of thing with the format at some point, where I like spend some time on stream playing every single deck in the format just to like familiarize myself. But like, I'm not worried about that right now. Like Austin said, I'm like grinded really hard. I'm taking a little bit of a break from Fab, so I'm just gonna relax, do some stream content. Been doing some like React style content, watching the coverage from Worlds. Y'all can catch that on my channel. I'm about to hit day 2 of the coverage to start doing that. Ironically, the last one was kind of funny. The first game we watched was Ellie, and the last game we watched was Ellie. I was like, oh, that's kind of a weird spot to end on, but whatever. Her Fi deck was pretty sweet, as well as her Aurora deck. I really enjoyed watching both of those games. Vaporize, shock, kill all your shackles. Chef's kiss. Yeah, just relaxing. I don't even know if I'm going to go to the 1K, to be honest. I'm kind of enjoying just some downtime. This is actually the first Worlds, though, that I didn't have Fab burnout afterwards. Like, the last 3 Worlds, afterwards, I was like, I can't even look at a Fab card for like a month. And I just like completely stopped doing anything related to Fab. This is the first time that hasn't been the case. I'm still like kind of taking a little bit of a break, but like, no, I'm still like enjoying the game a little bit and everything, which is kind of cool.
Do you think it's because you got to play Dromai? Makes sense.
I think it was also just like not having to draft. I've been pretty vocal about that. I don't really like draft in this game, so not having to deal with that cringeness. But I don't know. I think I just enjoyed my decks in the format, so I was kind of having fun with exploration and everything.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't really feel burned out. I still don't feel burned out after Worlds. Maybe it's because I got to play Zen, and those games were fun. KO was fun too. I have no complaints about the decks that I brought. But I've currently not been playing Fab. I've been playing Riftbound. I got a message from and they're like, "Hey, there's a tournament in Atlanta this weekend. The flights are cheap. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Well, I got that $4,000 from LSS burning a hole in my pocket. I guess I could spend some of this to go learn Riftbound." And so like I just like book a flight. I go down to Atlanta to play in this like Riftbound 10K, and then they also have like a 2K the next day. And I've played like maybe 20 games total. And so I sit down. I'm playing Victor because the deck is like $75 to build. And that was all I had. And so so I build the deck. I sit down. I win my first match, and I go, okay, maybe I can play this game. And then I'm like, but I'm just gonna lose. And then I sit down, I play a second match, and I win again. And I'm like, I don't really know how I'm winning because I've never seen these decks before. Like I don't know what I'm playing against. Like first round I'm playing against like an Ari. They have like all these tricks. They just like beat me every single turn, and I win the game anyway. And I'm like, okay, well, I've learned what this deck does. And it was just like round 3. They're like, we're gonna put you on stream. No, it was round 4 they put me on stream. But on round 3, I sit down and play. I win that one too. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I've never seen this deck either. They put me on stream. I win my stream game. They're interviewing me. I'm like 4-0 at the time. And
that interview was fire.
They're asking me questions like, oh, what do you think about this game? And they're asking me other games that I played. And that part was easy, but they're like asking me cards. They're like, what's your favorite card in your deck? And I'm like, I don't know any names of cards. I don't know anything about this game.
Did you rewatch the interview?
I have.
It's great. Oh wait, we're not live. Okay, let's awkwardly stand here when you're actually live.
It's not the same. Look, it's not the same quality that we're used to with Ethan and everything else. You know, it's like the back in the days when it was like the backpack stream. But it was very funny. They're just like asking me all these questions. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I've never played this game. Obviously, it caught up to me. I got skill gapped like the rest of the day and ended up losing. But I had a ton of fun. By the end of it, I got 9th at the 2K, unfortunately. You know, another just right out of top 8. But I think I tripled the amount of games I've played in total of Riftbound just that weekend. But it was a lot of fun. I'm going to go to Houston, not this weekend, but obviously the weekend after. I'm going to go to Orlando the weekend after that. So I'm just kind of on a Riftbound kick right now while I'm taking a little break. I will tell you this. The reason I say all of this on a Flesh and Blood podcast, to circle back to Flesh and Blood, man, playing a different tournament structure that is not Flesh and Blood makes me love Flesh and Blood tournament structure. It was horrendous playing in there. It's a best of 3 game, like 50 minutes. You have to like play so fast not to go to time and not get a draw because you can just draw. Draws are a little beneficial. You get 1 point for a draw, 0 points for a loss. Like, I hate that system, but that's the system that they run. But it's also like a trigger fest. Like, the rules are not rewind. The rules are just like, you miss a trigger, you miss a trigger. The end. Your opponent can tell you if you get it or not. So not only are you have to play fast, you have to remember every single trigger. There's a million triggers. And then you can get like hyper punished for missing one of them, even if it has no bearing on the rest of the game. And I'm like, why? Why is this the thing that the game is testing? The game is literally testing, like, can you play really fast and remember all your triggers? That's the most important skill you can possibly have in Riftbound right now. Like, you can you start the game with a battlefield. If you don't do the battlefield as like your first action of the game, you just miss the battlefield trigger. You just don't get the battlefield that you brought with you. It's like really obnoxious on like what you can't unwind. The funny part was, I watched this happen. I watched some guy bring a battlefield. It basically just says at the start of your turn, you each get 1 point. And on the guy's turn, he missed it, but the other guy did not on his turn. So one guy brings the battlefield, misses his own battlefield. His opponent then gets the point for the battlefield. And he's like, oh yeah, let me get my point. And he's like, nah, you don't get your counter. They call a judge and the judge is like, nah, you missed your trigger, bro. And nothing has changed. No actions have taken place. I'm just like, why is this the Riftbound game? Like, people's first card game. This is how sharky you wanted to make it. Oh, horrendous. Also, just like the entire end of the game is just like IDing. Like, you just intentionally draw to get into the top 8. So you don't play out any of the end of the round games. That's why I got 9th. Everyone, like basically everyone above me was ID'd the last round and I won. So I got 9th. The tiebreaker system is, a different tiebreaker system. It was just like everything. People were super sharky, which is just like not a thing that we have in the game anymore. And it was just, I ended the weekend enjoying playing the game, hating the tournament structure and missing FAB tournament structure.
A lot of people complain about the draw versus like the tiebreaker system in FAB of like, oh, I don't like how it's structured in this game of like win you lose matters. After so many years of playing other card games, I actually really like it. I like knowing that I'm going to bubble in or out based on when I lost my game, not, oh man, I really hope that the guy that I played against in round 3 didn't drop from the event and that he kept winning and now I got good breakers off of that and things like I hate my breakers being based off things that were completely out of my control over how good my opponent did. And like, now I got to run around and like cheer them on and be like, yeah, man, you got to keep playing. And like, that's so cringe.
I think the other games, in theory, it should be better. Where like, if you lose to someone, it should be because they're better than you, not just the round you lost in. That just never actually plays out in real life. So I get where like that system could make sense, but yeah, the FAB one just, your fate in advance and it's good.
There was
it's like an in theory it makes sense thing.
One thing, Cody, you go Austin after this is a short question. Did you ever have an awkward like pre-match thing? I'm assuming in this game you don't show your hero until after, or do you show your hero before?
No, it's awkward. So like, you put your hero face down, and then like you're supposed to reveal your hero at the same time, and then you have like a champion unit, and you're supposed to reveal that at the same time, and then you're supposed to reveal your like battlefield at the same time.
Okay, but you don't like before game 1, you don't know what they're playing. I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because it's not like they're sideboarding before.
Yeah.
Whenever I play another card game, I always think of FAB of like, once I sit down at the table, I like throw my hero on the board and I ask them what they're playing.
Well, it still matters for like first turn decisions and like play draw decisions. Like, you actually know.
You do know before you choose for second, but like, obviously you have a sideboard, but you can't pre-sideboard.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter that much.
Like, you really want to make sure you don't tell your hero so they don't like leave in a sideboard card that they have for you that they're not supposed to in the first game. Like, it's like, obviously that would get them like a deck check issue, but like, if they're willing to take that risk, like, you're just risking that now. It's like not a thing you ever have to think about in FAB, where you're just like, oh, your game 1 is just sideboarded. But here is like, you need to make sure they don't know what you're playing so they don't pre-sideboard against you as well, which can happen. Not that I'm saying any of my opponents did that, but it's just something to keep in mind. Austin, you wanted to say something?
So we were kind of talking about like the sharking and like IDing and everything. This is just kind of a funny anecdote. Like, this last weekend, there was a YCS for Yu-Gi-Oh! In Bologna, whatever. And yes, that one. And in the last round, this is like both these players' win-ins for top 8. They've done away with like top 32, top 64, whatever. It is straight top 8 cut now. with prizing to top 32. But so it's on stream and they're playing, and time is about to be called, and the player whose turn it's not, it basically stalls until time is called. And the way draws work in Yu-Gi-Oh now is you don't play out turns, nothing like that. It's just a double loss. It doesn't matter what game you're in. It doesn't matter who's higher in life. It's just a double loss. And I assume he like asked for a concession and was just like no. So they both just like bubble out of top 8.
Yeah, it was a meme of a game on stream. It's like, all right, super hype, intense game. One player is like absolutely dominating, about to win, and then the guy just decides not to concede, and then they both don't make top 8.
Yeah,
Very good.
I've never experienced that in FAB. To be fair, I've only really gone to time like 2 or 3 times, but we've always been able to kind of deduce like who would probably win the game. So I don't know. I've even had people just like roll for it. It's like, who knows? It's better than the draw.
Definitely only at unsanctioned events he would do this.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's definitely only at locals.
Yeah.
Only at not even Armory, just on-demand events.
I just thought it was weird. You're just like seeing people ID on purpose. Also, it like really encourages, if you're playing a slow deck in Riftbound, to just like take 38 minutes on game 1 and then just go to time on game 2 and you automatically win the set. It's just like, I'm just like, why? I mean, whoever wrote the rules to the game are just like not. They're like trying to test things in this game that I don't think they mean to. It's like
that
they
was
wrote the
strat
rules
in Force of Will for a while. Like, I'm going to win game 1, and then we're not going to finish game 2.
Yep. It's like they're trying to test skills outside of playing the card game by accident. Because like when you encourage things like rule sharking or really tight like trigger timings, or if you also like then really limit the amount of time you have to actually play, and then you make like how the tiebreaker system works, then you're just like, you're testing skills that aren't playing the game or trying to figure out how to win against your opponent. You're just testing people's dexterity, is like one of the terms that's used a lot in card game, is like, make sure you remember all your triggers, make sure you can play fast enough to get through all your games, like make sure you're aggressive enough to tell your opponent to stop slow playing and play faster, and that you're willing to call a judge all the time. And these are the skills you're actually testing to be good at the game, which is just like, I think most of this will probably get rewritten because it's like it's Riftbound. It's like supposed to be the big, like everyone's first card game type of game. And it's just like, doesn't play that way.
Is that what it's
But at
actually
the end of
marketed as? Like baby's first card game?
That's the player base they have. Whether it's marketed that way or not, that's basically what the player base is.
It's kind of like Lorcana in the way where like a lot of the people who are like picking up and playing it that aren't already TCG players are just fans of the IP.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to still have,
genuine question. I had no idea who it was like catered towards.
I just think some of that will be tightened up because it's a little ridiculous. I mean, it even happened in like a big China tournament where a guy forgot his battlefield and like just didn't get his point at the beginning of the game. It was like, it's so ridiculous. But all of that to say, I was like missing FAB tournaments, and I kept mentioning, I'm like, I think they should just make the round timer 60 minutes and then give everyone a double loss if you go to time. Everyone thought that was way too strict. I was like, I don't know, FAB does it. It's great. But that was
also calling something too strict when your whole system's revolving around you missed your trigger. That seems a little odd.
Dude, every round took like 70 minutes to run through, because once you go to time, you just get 5 turns, 5 untimed turns. So it was just like, I'm like, how can you run a major event like into this system? It was just every single thing that happened. I'm just like, man, I appreciate LSS so much more. Man, I appreciate the thoughts going into these rules so much more. With that said, I'm still like playing the game right now, but it's not like it's not like it's stealing me away from Flesh and Blood. It's just like something fun to do while
a palate
we have
cleanser.
Yeah, but
my palate cleanser right now is Final Fantasy. Nice Steam sale. I got all the games I'm missing.
I was gonna say, is that a palate cleanser when you're just cleansing all year? You're just Final Fantasying all year?
No. There's downtime. We have the in between patches where there's like months of nothing going on.
Sure, I have some things on the agenda for this podcast. We're gonna talk about Silver Age. Maybe you guys can teach us a little bit about Silver Age, and we can talk about more of like what our hopes are for the actual format going forward. what it actually turns into. I have a couple of rants because it wouldn't be the Rantaways without that. And then we have some podcast questions we'll wrap up with. But for the topic, I'll let Austin, if you want, to lead off with this. What are maybe some of your thoughts on Silver Age right now, or maybe some of your hopes going in, since you have more experience than I do with this format?
So I've played it like an okay amount so far. I have a locals that's dedicated to Sage that I haven't participated in a ton, but I know a fellow teammate, Tim, is like a big advocate of the format. He absolutely loves it. He gets to brew and basically just play a bunch of fatigue decks, but that's just what he enjoys. The format's cool. I think my biggest issue with it right now, and I think I expressed this after probably playing like 20 or 30 games of the format, was it almost made me miss testing LL for Worlds, which is not a great place to be. I think brewing in the format's really cool because of your limited card pool, but again, like a lot of these heroes can do like pretty broken things still, like Pleiades being able to block with the confidence hat after a bunch of auras pop, and then you just send 25 at your opponent and they just explode. Since defensive options and armor in the format's like pretty low, like heroes that have evasive damage seem pretty broken. I'm hoping that with Pen we get some like interesting armor defensive options, so some of these like more aggressive decks can compete with Guardian. And then I guess there is some offensive overlap with things like Chain and Ira. If they just kind of do the thing every turn, they're like pretty strong. I've been trying to make Gravy work. Much to my chagrin, I don't think he's very good. You get exploded by both the aggro decks and the Guardians, which is, not an awesome place to be. But yeah, I've just been having fun playing the format. I think
all these negative things are to say I've been having fun.
Yeah.
so. It's
But I'm having fun.
so it's weird. I enjoy doing degenerate stuff.
There's not thousands of dollars on the line.
Yeah,
So you can have, oh, that's cool. You did the fun thing. Wow, that's awesome. I haven't seen someone do that before.
It's my $20.
You're at Worlds? That's different.
It's my $20 ticket to the $2 million world tour.
Oh.
But yeah, the games are fast. I think the reason I'm enjoying it is because it's just something different. Like, albeit like some of the games have like a negative play experience because you're at a 20 life total, and some of these decks can do kind of like egregious things. Like if the Bravo Fluttering Showman like kind of just dominates out of his arsenal every turn, it's like it feels like getting fused against by Starvo every turn. You're just like, well, I guess I die because my armor doesn't do anything. But that being said, if you enjoy decks like Chain, if you enjoy Guardian, like the format's great for Guardian. If you like Ninja, the format's great for Ninja. I like Briar quite a bit, so I've played like a reasonable amount of Briar, and Briar's quite good. Embodiments are just your 4-block D-Reacts at home, which the format's kind of missing. Like you're playing all these really bad like 4-block block cards.
Well, also, you're actually the only class that gets like real D-Reacts.
Yeah.
You get Sigil of Suffering, and you get Reduced Rune Chant.
Yeah. And I think, I know I've done a lot of like negging on the format, but I think until Pen comes out, it's kind of like an unrealized format, right? Like they very obviously like want Pen to be like what kind of shoots it off and like makes it playable. They kind of started that with like the bans they did in their dev talk, which that was probably a pretty good start. But I think just the one big thing about CC that you don't get in something like Commoner or at least right now Sage is like the equipment's like pretty important in both blocking and just like overall utility, and you just don't really have that in Silver Age right now. So you don't really have this like interesting sip to like work with.
I think that's true in one sense, but also the equipment that exists today in Sage just does one of the functions for the most part. You have like some outliers of cards that can both block and produce value on offense, but I think for the most part the equipment is kind of siloed into you're running it because it saves you 2 life, or you're running it because it gets you a resource or a damage or some kind of value on offense. So I think that while it's nice to have CC level equipment, like we have the crazy equipment pieces in CC like Furnace, right? It's like, okay, it's a core engine piece on offense, and then also just gains you 2 life, and then 1 more at the end. Or Savage Sash, another similar one where it's just like something that does both functions in a very strong manner. I'm glad that they don't have stuff like this for Sage, because I think one of the more interesting parts of FAB is deciding on your equipment whether you want to have um, more defensive or more offensive capability. And that also lends itself towards sideboarding, where instead of just your sideboard equipment being, do I want to prevent arcane damage or do I want to prevent physical damage? It's like, do I want to be proactive on offense or do I want to be more defensive? Like, what's my role in the matchup? And then I have equipment for that. So I think kind of the um, next evolution here is if they introduced some arcane barrier equipment that could also block 1, for example, or also could do something on offense that wasn't just strictly null rune. I think that would be a pretty good spot, like how Rangers have Bullseye Bracers is a good example of this, where it's a card that fits in as your arcane barrier for when you don't want to get farmed by Sigil of Suffering or any effects that are just like, if you've done arcane this turn, pop off, you want to at least have some recourse against that without having to give up actual life total or offensive output. So I think, yeah, if they introduce something like that, I think that would be a good next evolution to the Sage equipment. But I hope that they don't just start printing like Majestic Light equipment where
yeah, I don't
yeah.
want that.
Currently their design with that is basically just the like cloth armor classes, if you want to call it that, are the ones that have access to that. Like the ones that don't have the fridge get more access to like dealing with arcane damage, and it's supposed to be like, oh, I'm the heavy armor guy is supposed to be the one that's worse into arcane damage, therefore they don't get to free roll that. Though it's kind of goofy that Runeblade does get to kind of free roll that, but that's a separate thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's kind of one of the biggest problems I've seen with the format now is that Wizard kind of sucks. I mean, feel free for people to disagree, but from what I've seen, it's just really hard to, if your opponent has AB3 and blues, it's like pretty hard to actually do anything because you don't really have combo tools to get over their defenses, and you don't have the life to, live long enough to set something up in the 20 life format with pretty limited armor. So I think kind of the arcane just comes from the rune blades, and I think that leads into the actual problem, which is rune chance. I think if they want to do like actual banning, Cody's going to become sad again because they just have to make chain unplayable, since they basically just printed 1 million cards that say deal your opponent damage and gain resources. It's like, imagine they printed fables that say when they're pitched you get 3 resources and also deal your opponent 3 damage. It's kind of just absurd.
Don't tempt them to make more good fables.
Yeah. But it's like, that's what it is, right? When you're casting a Deathly Wail from Banish with 3 chance, like I play Read the Runes, I cast Deathly Wail, like instead of paying 3 mana, you take 3 damage. How can that possibly be a balanced mechanic? So I think just the concept of these rune chant discounter attacks is just kind of a slippery slope for a format like Sage, where you don't necessarily have the life buffer to okay, I'll just wait, and then the rune blade will have like an off turn where they can't play. You're just like dead the first time they have a good turn.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I don't expect chain to survive in the format. I'm also just, I don't know, it's also possible we don't have all the powerful decks, figured out yet. It's a 20 health format. There could be things faster. Could be decks that combo off faster and deal a lot of damage. I'm hoping that this ends up being a slower format eventually, as they work everything through, because it'd be nice to kind of have like a back and forth style tight format. I'm a little worried about playing this at Pro Tour, to be fair. And I'm just hoping it doesn't get like, it's not like LL, where it's just like, it doesn't get tested enough and we're just doing whatever at the next tier 4. I mean, how do you guys feel about its inclusion in the immediate next tier 4?
So at least they're running events. So at least they're running events so they can like get player data this time.
Okay. Yeah, I think by the time we get to the tier 4, we have enough of a runway now and enough tournaments to where I'm hoping that something will change. The biggest thing outside of the like rune chant problem, like I mentioned, that I found to be a bit of an issue is into the decks that um, play like lots of attacks with Go. Again, you mentioned like Briar and Ira. The fact that you don't have D-Reacts really hurts your ability to block cards like Snatch as a chain ender, because if you have a block card, that's like the best way of blocking a Snatch, right? You have like a On the Horizon, or maybe your Guardian, you have one of like the Clash of Chest or something like this. You can't reasonably hold that card while your opponent only has one card left in their hand, because if they just pass, you can't arsenal it. So you're a fool. But then if you block on an earlier chain link and they end with the Snatch, you wish you would have blocked with the 4 block. Now you're either way, you're a fool. So to avoid being a fool, I think they either have to remove a lot of these like Snatch type effects as potential chain enders, Snatch being the one that's most obvious in my head now, um, or they have to introduce some like what are they called, ambush, like ambush block cards, or just some way of counteracting the opponent just sending 0 for 4s and you not having the flexibility of like, if they arsenal pass, okay, I arsenal my D-React. If they throw their 4, okay, I'll match their 4 with my 4. So I think that's kind of just like a fundamental thing that I hope gets addressed. And playing the actual games though at a tier 4, I think my biggest gripe is something that CC suffers from a little bit now. It's not as bad as Silver Age, but it's quite hard to come back. I would say Chain is probably one of the few decks that can really come back because they can just like hit the nuts on a banish. But outside of that, most decks, if you like say you go first in an aggro mirror, like you leak no damage, they just present 16 at you, you have to take it all. Like it's so hard for you to come back in a situation like that. So I think, yeah, if there's some mechanic that allows you to have more of a comeback and actually get to that long game, that would be good. Those are kind of like my high level thoughts of what I hope gets fixed by the time we play it at a Pro Tour. But in any event, I'm still excited for them to keep trying new things. Like despite people chirping LL, it's still cool that the company is like looking to innovate. So I'm happy that we have new stuff.
It's kind of goofy that like Snatch is legal, but the D-Reacts are banned.
Yeah.
I feel like Pummel is like on that line too of it being a little
Yeah.
goofy. It's just like what's your counterplay to Pummel? Cry? Like I
Discard a
So the
card.
Pummel's
biggest
like
thing
not-
about Pummel, why I don't find Pummel as much of an issue, is that the Pummel is extremely face up most of the time. There's no concept of like, oh, I'm going to float Tunic, maybe I'll Pummel, or maybe I'll play Sigil of Solace. Like there's not really much they can do. I mean, they can play the Guardian auras, right? The auras of suspense, if we're talking about Pummel in a Guardian context. But the problem with those cards is if you ever play those cards on turns, you're like just playing normal Flesh and Blood, you're playing a 2-card 5. It's like the Pummel is actually like a real drawback in deck building, in that there's not really efficient ways to kind of cheat the curve to play Pummel most of the time. Also, given the fact that Old Knocker doesn't exist, you don't have to think about like, oh, what if they go like Old Knocker Pummel, because if they want to get a resource, they usually have to do it before doing their attack. So it'll be like very obvious that they have the floating. And so yeah, so I found Pummel to not be that much of a problem overall, especially because it requires you to keep a 4-card hand in the 20 life format. not the easiest thing to do after like turn 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think getting rid of NIMBY and Fiddler's Green was like good bans in either direction. Like hitting NIMBY like tuned down Briar quite a bit, so you're not just getting smushed. But then also Fiddler's Green ban is pretty good, just so that like Oldham can't just sit there and block until you run out of cards, which a lot of FAB players just actively hate fatigue, which I understand. But I think those are two extremes that I'm happy they got rid of. I think overall for me, I think the one thing I don't much care for in like these 20 life formats is just big evasive damage. When I first started playing the format, I had a buddy run Bravo Flattering Showman into me like 2 or 3 games, and I was like, this is miserable. You're just playing an aura of suspense, and then you're activating Bravo, and then I'm taking 12, and nothing I can do about it because I don't have D-Reacts.
You gotta play Wreck Havoc. It's the tech. You flip their arsenal up, then they can't flip it up. You win.
I hadn't considered that. That is something I do really like about. There's all these like goofy like commons and rares that like you would never consider playing in CC, but are like reasonable impact in Silver Age, which I think is fun. Like just making a giant maybe board of all these interesting cards you could include.
You're talking about language, dude. Making the giant maybe board? Don't tell me with a good time.
I mean, Noah, you single-handedly are trying to crash Fabrary with the amount of cards in your maybe board.
And anytime I look at a Lucas or a Noah like deck list, I scroll down to the maybe board and there's like 400 or 500 cards, and I'm just like, I don't.
Well, that's because the Lucas deck is the copy of my deck. And he's just too lazy to delete all the maybe.
Somehow there's more cards in the maybe board than there are in the card search engine.
Yeah, of course. Someday I'll hit a 4-digit maybe board. We'll get there someday.
I believe in you.
Great. So the more I look at Sage, I'm excited to deck build with it. Obviously, we had that tournament, I believe it was like last week, where it was like 7 chains in the top 8, which is like ridiculous.
I think it was 5 chains, 2 Oldhams, and then 1
Valda.
Bravo? No, Valda.
Valda. Yep.
Just kind of funny.
The Valda's a head scratcher.
If you thought the meta was going to be a bunch of KO, boom. Because the thing about Valda is, like, if you think about KO and Azalea, they both like draw at least 1 card every turn. So the fact you have 1 more HP because of her young hero, and then you also get at least like 1 seismic every turn into. If you expect the meta to be like those decks, I don't know, it's interesting.
I completely forgot she had more HP.
Yeah, she gets 1 more, dude. It's lit.
Yeah.
Don't you remember people were crashing out that she wasn't 42 in CC?
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do that.
Yeah.
What is it? Yoji has 22, right?
Yeah, but I think he's a Majestic. I don't think you can play him in
Oh, unlucky. I just want to play Shiana. I love Shiana. That's the only hero I ever played in Blitz, and I just filled my entire deck with specs. I know you can't really do that in Silver Age, but just let me play Shiana. That's all I want.
When I first got into FAB, I wanted that to be the hero that I played, and then I realized within like 30 minutes, I can't actually play this hero. Unlucky. Not old and seems terrible in Blitz. Unlucky.
It was also like $4,000 when we started playing the game, so...
No. Crew Unlimited was out.
It wasn't when I was playing the game.
Because I got in during Monarch Unlimited.
Sure. I was saying when I started playing the game, it was not out. So everything from Crew was $1 million. I'm testing a deck. I'm like, oh, this deck's pretty reasonable. Let me go look to build it. I go try to build it. Half of it's like Crew cards. And it was like, this is a $6,000 deck. And I was like, well, I'm not going to stop testing this deck now. There's like no world where my first deck in the game is going to be $6,000. So I guess I know how people feel when they first get into the game right now. And every deck that they want to play is $2,000.
Fair.
I did want to say, I think that's a great thing about Sage. I hope the deck is, the format is playable. I would be fine if my locals picked it up for like 1 week out of the month, or maybe more than that if they wanted to do it for like that right now, just to play it. I'm pretty excited to just like brew decks for the format, but I don't know. Everything I've seen about the format is once people start testing it, their impressions of the format get worse and worse. So I'm a little worried that people are just going to get exploded.
I'd have faith that they would properly ban things, but my faith in things has been like a little shaken over the past year. But hopefully the format's balanced by then.
They do enjoy messing around with chain, so we can at least count on them doing something in regards to chain.
I'm not touching that deck at all. I don't believe they're gonna destroy it. I don't. Never played in that deck.
For what it's worth, I think just messing around with goofy ideas in Sage is like it's a ton of fun, I think.
Yeah, the fact that there's not much disruption means if you want to play your funny idea, you can usually resolve it, whether or not it wins you the game.
And like my biggest problem with CC right now is like there's not really a ton of room for innovation, and like whenever I get bored, I really like to just go into Fabrary, go to the create function, and then just start looking at decks to build. And just like mess with like a funny idea, but you just can't do that right now because either the deck's unplayable anyway, or like there's just no innovation to really be done. Somebody's already done a goofy thing.
The first thing I did when I started looking at the format, I haven't like done too much yet, but I saw like Noah just said very little disruption. I was like, oh, there's like no disruption in this format, no D-reacts. can I just remake my commoner jersey deck in this format and just FTK people? And I'm like, oh, a lot of the cards are gone, but we got a lot of new cards. This might be viable, and I kind of put together a shell of it.
What was your commoner jersey deck?
It was a Belittle Electrify Briar deck. I just OTK'd everyone. Oh, it was sweet. I got the commoner book for it still. I lost one game in that event, and it was, I think, to Dan on Pummel Chain.
That sounds like my kind of deck.
Oh, so sweet. I would go Crack Stubby Hammers, Electrify, Belittle, Ball Lightning, Ball Lightning, Ball Lightning, Minnowism, Crack Chest, Shrill Rosetta. Go to hell.
Go to bed. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Well,
yeah, I'd take all their cards, all their armor, and now they're at like 8 or something, and I have a Rosetta. I will find a way to close the game from here.
It's really funny.
But it's vastly different than I think House H currently looks. Hopefully, I guarantee.
Yeah, we've got Burn Up Shock now. That card's broken. Sure.
I guarantee there's definitely stuff that has been missed that must be busted. It is just too many heroes, too many things to test. I think we will be very surprised where the format ends up as we actually get through it. But there's just like a ton. Like, you can spend so much time building decks in this format. There's so many heroes.
Also, it's a nice opportunity for people to do some like dumpster diving on like old rares that they thought were like whatever. Especially if you have like a higher rarity version, like the that shield that just like blocks 2. I'm pretty sure both printings of it in the high rarity cost money. I don't know the names of any of the cards. I'm sorry. Something. It's like the one that there's a Brevant version. It's like you can protect your allies, and then there's also the other version, just temper 2.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't remember the name.
And there's like the chest piece of Guardian, where when you block, you give them a bigger token, so that way Ira can't swing their Kodachis.
Well, they can. Their turn just ends.
Well, I say Kodachis with S.
Oh,
they get Kodachi singular.
I see.
But yeah, so there's just like a lot of interesting equipment that, and probably some main deck cards too. Yeah, like actually one of the sets that I've found to be pretty decent is the ones from Super Slam that are like modal, where they cost 1, 2, and 3. They attack for 6, 7, and 8, but you can choose to like pay to buff them up, or you can keep them 1-. Yeah, those are like pretty cool for just decks that play on like different resource curves to just have whatever rate is better for them on that specific turn sequence.
So. Yeah, it makes sense. If you would like help navigating through this format and all of the various data, you should visit fabblazing.com, another sponsor of this episode. Fabblazing.com has the data. If you'd like to be able to look up what is performing best in decks, the decks that are performing the best, win arguments with your friends, and save a bunch of time in your testing, feel free to join in the link below. I was waiting to get that one in there.
No, it was a perfect segue, man. Yeah. No notes.
Segue, man.
I just need Noah. I know if I tee it up for Noah will just like, he'll set it and I'll be able to spike it. I just know if I word things a certain way, if I start getting a conversation going a certain way, I could get him, hook him in there.
To be fair, it is like the perfect thing, right? Where you're like the short guy going for the spike, you know?
Yeah. I'll talk about Goliath that way. I appreciate it. Cool. Anything else we want to talk about on Sage?
I just hope that they keep a tighter eye on it, I guess. It sort of felt like LL was like, oh, we're going to have like PQs and like all this stuff. There's going to be battle hardens. We're going to have data for you. And then it just ended up being like nothing at all. And then it felt like a lot of their comments about the format felt kind of tone deaf to what like the actual community felt. I actually, funnily enough, I actually think LL was like 2 bans away from being like a pretty solid format. But we'll never get to see that now, probably. But dead format. Yeah, dead format. I think, just get rid of System Reset and Scaletta. Format great.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. I'm glad you said those too.
But I just kind of hope they keep a tighter watch on it. It's clear that they're like more passionate about this than they were LL. Its cost to entry also being like really low is like a big incentive for like newer players to check out the game. Where like Blitz, if you really wanted to get into Blitz, you still had to like put some money in. But this, it like maybe you pick up some like $5 rares, like whatever. If you end up spending like $60 on a deck, it's still not going to break your wallet as far as like competitive formats go, or constructed formats go. And I'm really excited to see like the other stuff that Penn brings. Both its impact on like it's the reason I don't want to test Sage like super competitively now because it's going to change so much, I'd imagine. So I'm looking forward to that.
Fino, you have something you want to say?
I'm hoping that the precons have some like good reprints, like the Blade Beckoner stuff in them, and some unique game pieces or like alt arts in them or something. That's
Okay.
like,
When you say or, do you actually mean or? I'm glad you brought this up because this is going to be my next topic is like, do you want these precons to have cards that are needed? Like, for example, if you look at the Terra, like, I don't know what they called it, like starter deck something.
First strike.
First strike.
First strike, thank you. First strike deck. It had Flourish. Flourish became like a very staple card. It had Canopy Shelter. I think both of those became just like staple Earth blues that you just like play in Earth decks that are looking to attack the opponent. And now every competitive player has to buy 2 of those structure decks because it comes with 2 copies of a card. So I'm a little bit suspect on. I would love it as a Noah Bagelman person of like, I don't care if I have to go buy 2 of every starter deck, but I think as like the vacuum of society, it would be bad if you're a competitive player and now you have to buy 2 of every starter deck because they come with a unique game piece.
So I think if they put like printed a new generic or something or a new piece of armor that was like pretty good in the format and put it in every single deck, then I think that's perfectly reasonable. Like, oh, like Blossom of Spring was in like a bunch of products for a while, and that was just like a staple commoner card. Just get any of the decks, you get the new staple card. And they're printing enough different of these decks over time that I think the market's going to have enough of this product that it's not going to have like an issue. And then by the time that ever does become an issue, they just put it in like a gem pack or something.
So you're saying like the Icelander precon deck should just be all cards that already exist in the Game of Flesh and Blood repackaged?
All cards in the Game of Flesh and Blood repackaged. Pick one card, make it an alt art, make it like an extended art. That's what they already do with the Blitz decks right now. People will buy that one card for $5 probably because people already do that. It comes with a booster pack of the new set that's like $7, I think. And then you have one card that's like a piece of equipment that's really good in the format, and that'll go for like $2 probably.
Yeah.
And it's in every single deck.
Like what we were talking about, like some special like new AB that does a thing, and it's like it's in every deck, yeah.
And maybe you could do more than just one card. Like maybe each deck comes with a different slot of equipment of the same set. Or maybe half of the decks come with this. Like if you get the fire version, you get this. If you get the water version, you get this. Like a Pokemon thing. Something like that where maybe there's a few more than more than one game piece. But I think something like that is fine. Because then I know for me, I have zero interest in buying this product. Like this just feels like a laziness tax. Of I don't want to find these comments myself, I guess I'll buy the Blitz deck. I think if you put something in it as an existing player that would make me want to buy the product, then that makes the product much better.
I just ordered a Dash.io Armory deck because I don't have any Mechanologist commons or rares. I'm who these are marketed towards. I don't keep bulk. I give my bulk away to new players.
I think if they exist as a laziness tax product, it won't long-term sell well. Like, people will initially pick them up because new hotness, and like, I want to start playing the format today. But then people will stop buying them.
I think they should just have like new cards. They should have some new cards in the deck. Like every single one.
I think it should be a mix of both. So like this is one area where I think Yu-Gi-Oh kind of succeeds in its products product, just the starter decks, is like recently they've started doing like, here's an alt art for like a staple that could come in like a higher rarity, and then here's also like 2 to 3 new cards that are good in this specific strategy. They're not always played, but like usually at least one of them is pretty strong if it's like a meta defining archetype. So I would like to see something like, here's one class specific card, like maybe it's just a piece of equipment. I'd rather it be equipment than like a main deck card, because then again, I like spending $40 on 2 of these like doesn't feel great always. I mean, you are getting the packs, which is not nothing usually. But I think like seeing like an alt art of like it'd be kind of cool if like every single one had like an altar, like every single one had a different alt art generic. Like
That'd be cool.
one of it.
Like it's a
for
random card in the deck.
Yeah, just like for the format, I think that'd be pretty fun. Like it would make like opening them like sort of worth it. Because it would also like fulfill like a little bit of like the gambler's paradise and like opening sealed product, right? Yeah, it's got to hit. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any more thoughts on this? Because I want to go there. Like,
I have one thought.
Yes.
I have one quickie thought.
Okay.
I think I would like that, but I would like to acknowledge the fact that there's been product availability issues over the past year.
Yeah.
That would be the only reason that I wouldn't want it to be like, oh yeah, all of them have a bunch of different cards that are like unique game pieces. Because if that was the case and everyone needed to get them, we'd run into product shortage issues very likely. If we're in a utopia where that's never an issue, because Yu-Gi-Oh, to my knowledge, that was never really an issue. Like you could always go to Walmart and get the decks if you really wanted to.
No,
that was just always.
You actually can't get rid of enough Yu-Gi-Oh product anymore. Nobody wants it.
So like that's not an issue there.
No.
I just think that they should make the Icelander deck and then be like, you know what would make this deck really good? If we invented this other card that works really well, and they put that in the pack, and then they go to the Viserai and they're like, here's the Viserai deck, and then they just made some new cards for Viserai and put them in the pack, and then they just went down all of the heroes and did that. I think it's a great way to inject new cards into this Silver Age format without having to try and print them into a set. And then also I'm fine with having to buy them for the decks that I want to play.
Yeah. Okay. So building off of this, because I agree with you, but I'm proposing an alternative reality. What if they print the cards that are just for Sage? Like, do you think that these cards could exist? Like they invent a new line of text on the card. How like today we have legendary as like a keyword of you can only play one in constructed. Do you think they'll invent a keyword of like you can only play this in Silver Age?
I don't like that mechanic.
They probably won't.
Well,
they're against stuff like that.
I was gonna say like, or they could also just like ban it in Classic Constructed, and then
or something like this. Yeah, where because my biggest thing is just the fact that because these decks will contain 2-ofs, if they print cards that are good cards, in like Assassin, for example, like they print a good card in the Web of Deceit deck, it's going to be a normal Assassin card, most likely, which means it can be played in any Assassin in CC. And now I need to buy 2 of these starter decks to get my 3. I just think that's like because the whole 2-of, 3-of thing is just like.
But if you buy 2 of them, then you have an extra one, and then you get to sell the extra one to someone else who only wants to buy 1 deck. Oh,
true.
Oh, I have no problem with, like I said, this is purely just talking like in the existential of like there's a possibility that these 20 decks introduce new cards to where I have like as a consumer I feel priced into buying every single deck because I want to have access to cards for all the formats.
Sure. I just want them to be able to sell
successful. Isn't that a mark of a good product then?
Yeah, I've no problem if they do this. This is purely like a discussion of like, I wonder if this is the world we'll live in. Like,
because my worry is it's just a laziness tax. I don't want it to be a product that's just $1 of draft chaff and a pack. So the EV of the product is $8.
I think,
but stores are buying it for like 12, I assume.
I think that's why they tacked like a pack of the new set onto it. It just makes like having to buy more than one like slightly more worth it, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a lot of games do that now too, where like if you buy like a starter deck or like a structure deck of something, like it comes with a pack of like the most recent set, or at least like the set that it like was shipped off with, right?
If it's like $10 and it came with a pack, I think it being just a laziness tax product is perfectly fine, because then like whatever, I'm basically just buying the pack and I'm burning $3 for being lazy. I think $3 for being lazy is whatever, that's fine. $13 for being lazy, that's now we're entering the that's kind of dubious territory, and this product might not sell well. Like, I'm not going to buy that.
Yeah, that's why I think hopefully they actually are putting things in it that matter, so
Yeah.
that we will buy it, because
I
I
think-
want them to just sell a bunch of product.
Even if they just put like one copy of Arcane Polarity and 2 Blade Beckoner equipment in every one of them, it's already worth it. You've paid for the whole deck. You've done it.
Yeah. They could also put Waning Moon in the Icelander one and then say Waning Moon is legal. I would enjoy that.
It's still banned. It's just in there. Here, play with your.
What if she just gets a specialization weapon instead?
You'll play with
That
your.
says 2 mana, instant speed, deal 2 if you played a non-attack. Use Raven Thief bonus turn. I would like that.
What if she? Did we talk about this the other week on the pod? Where it was only, maybe it was with Jimmy or something. Where it's, what if Waning Moon was just 2 no matter what side of the turn it was on? Would that be fine?
Waxing Moon, I'm down.
Instead,
Not
you'll
waning,
play
just
with
waxing.
Kraken's Aether,
And then you make a
you'll like it.
specialization. Then you make it a specialization, and then you can ban Waning Moon and CC.
Sure.
I'd be okay with that.
There you go.
Perfect.
For another
We've
deck.
resolved it. Cool. Anything else on the little structure decks that are going to be coming out? The $20 tickets, as they're referring to.
$20 ticket. Funny anecdote before we go off of this topic. I have a local who is building a like highest rarity gravy deck for Sage, like all gold foil equipment, all Marvel allies. He walked up and he was like, "This is my $6,000 ticket to the $2 million Pro Tour."
But does he have the treasure amulets?
Though none of them are legal, so it's
Yeah, they're all Majestics.
Unlucky.
he found the loophole.
Hamal's got his gravy deck with all of those. It's nice.
I do think that on a very secondary aspect, if this becomes popular, those really bad gold foil common equipment could actually be worth something someday.
I picked up my Coat of Frost, baby. I'm ready.
I'm holding out for my gold foil Starfall. Just make Aurora.
Yeah, Starfall's legend. I think you sleeping on it has been to your benefit.
Well, the issue is I had it sealed during Pro Tour London, and then I opened it after Pro Tour London, like 2 weeks before Aurora LL, so I couldn't get rid of it.
Womp womp.
Should have just sold.
Okay.
Should have just opened it.
I do want to do a short rant on data from Talishar being hidden. We talked about this a little bit before, but I would like to remake this point again. I'm going to continue to do this until something is resolved about it, because I think this is an unfunctional state for the community to exist in. I don't think that you should be allowed to, one, participate in getting any data, and then at the same time be hiding your data. If people are not aware of what actually happened, is private games data was being captured via Fabrary, and anything that was scraping the Talishar. Originally, at one point in time, bad actors were just scraping Talishar all the time for everything, and it was causing a lot of, I guess I shouldn't call them bad actors, but like they were just scraping Talishar for everything all the time, and getting like full deck lists and stuff. And this was also causing a lot of overhead on Talishar. This was kind of, a lot of kibosh was put on this, and at least forced to stop, which has been nice. But sites were able to grab private game data. Fabrary could grab private game data, and some people got upset about this, as if it was like leaking what they were playing, which I think is just like the most entitled thing I've ever heard. Someone is using a community platform, and because the room says private on it, they think that like anything that they play on there should be private. I just don't believe that in any aspect. You're using a community platform. You don't own the platform. You're not paying for the platform. What you do in there, if you want it to be private, go play in person. Go play on TTS. Go play on something that you actually own or have purchased. Leaks don't really matter. These aren't leaks. These are like you making the decision to play on an online service. And if you're doing so, then you don't have any right to have your own data. I think this is actually going to cause a downstream impact on the game if we do not have proper data for a game that does not get enough reps. One, we know the dev team is making decisions off of publicly accessed data from like Talishar and February based on and tournament results. That's kind of obvious because there's just not enough data if you're not doing that. And if some people can just hide data and then also access data, it's just an unfair advantage. I just think this is like a very big problem that we should just easily resolve by just saying you can't hide your data. If you have decks that you don't want people to be able to like find, don't play them on Talishar. I don't know what to tell you. Like it's not that deep. Like you don't, just because it says private means people can't join the room. It doesn't mean that the data just disappears. Also, if you click that button, there's nothing that says that the data's gone. It could easily still be being stored in a database just with a different tag that's unsearchable via the API. And then now we're talking about like potential for people to buy that data or scrape that data themselves or figure out how the backend works and do something else. There's no protection against any of this. So once you start like involving hiding data, now you're slowly adding more and more possibilities of things that could be happening behind the scenes that you're not aware of. So I think the best way to do this is just allow an open trade of all the data. Just makes it much simpler. Go ahead, Fino.
I'm going to be evil for a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to manifest this in the universe. What if they made, and I say this because I want them to get more money and be successful in life. I love Talishar. What if they made it a Patreon exclusive perk to hide your data? Take my idea. I want you guys to get more money.
Would you be in favor of this, Cody, or no?
No, of course not. I don't think.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
I don't think you should be allowed to hide your data. Period. It opens so many doors of like, someone knows someone who's actually programming on Talishar. How do we know how the data is being stored? How do we know someone isn't buying that data or it's not being fed to someone else and now they're the only ones who have access to it? That's what happens when you start putting all of these other gates in place and not being transparent. So like, just remove the gate. Like it's not that big of a deal. Also, we already know that knowing what someone's playing in this game really doesn't matter. It's just like the person who won is playing Dio and Syndra. Like, come on, we know that Syndra and Dio are good in the format going into Worlds, and it still wins anyway. Like it's just not real in this game.
Yeah,
but I'm going to continue to hype on this because I actually think it is a problem in the game. Especially if some people are looking at this data and then making decisions on how the game should be balanced.
That makes a lot of sense.
So, wait, what were you going to say, Austin? Were you going to disagree?
No. I think he's pretty right. I do think it's silly that like some people are like, what's the best way I can word this? Like, I don't understand the point of being like hyper secretive about like maybe one or two tech choices in your like CC or LL deck when it's like, and then playing it on a public platform just feels kind of silly to me. If you're like that worried about like leaking the sauce, just don't play it online. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't. Also, it's anonymized too. It's not like, I mean, sure, people can figure out who you are, but you can make new usernames. Like it's not like you're associated with your gem ID when you play on Talishar.
Yep. I'm just also like
at the real Michael Hamilton.
Wait, one sec. If we actually ever had Shane on the podcast, he would tell the story about how he played against CYK Lionel. It was not actually CYK Lionel because he went up to him in person and was like, "Yo, dude, what's up?" Like acting like they knew each other, and it was just not CYK Lionel that he was playing against on Talishar.
This is the real reason he didn't want to be on the pod. Immediately outed.
Oh no, maybe we should make it a segment every week where we air out some Shane dirty laundry to finally get him like on the podcast.
Every week we shame him until he comes on.
Yeah, shame Shane.
The shaming will continue until you get on the podcast.
Impeccable.
I tried getting him onto the live podcast at Worlds, and he was like, no. And hit the I run button on fight, bag, run Pokemon. He hit run.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll win a calling, and then he'll have no choice. He'll have to get on.
I think the other thing I don't like is that this complaint was obviously made by professional players, whatever you want to consider that in this game. And Talishar, February, all these people, you don't have to do anything for pro teams. You shouldn't. You should make their life as hard as possible, is how I feel about it, because like they don't need any advantages. It doesn't matter what they want. Just like if they're like, hey, our stuff's getting leaked because we're playing in your private rooms. It's like, who cares? Then don't do it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you don't need to curtail to anything that they want, and just tell them to fuck off. Like, you're more than welcome to do that. I say that as someone who's like on a team. I just like, you don't need to make our lives easier. We formed a team to make our lives easier. That's like one of the point of doing the team thing. And all you're doing by every time you give an advantage to a team is you make it harder for everyone else who plays the game.
Yeah.
I
So,
agree with that.
until that is removed from the option setting, I will just continue to harp on it because I think it's better for all players and the community if that's resolved.
Very good.
Cool. Anything else before we go into podcast questions?
Yeah, very important question asked by Noah from the Runaways.
Yeah.
How can your pillow possibly be at that angle?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
I was sitting up on my laptop because I have
But if
that.
you're sitting up, should it not be vertical?
Sitting up like this.
You sit up at a 30-degree angle?
No. I got up and it moved down.
Oh, I see. You wanted to come join us. Yeah,
Yes.
Okay. You continue.
See, this is why you invest in a green screen. No one can make fun of your background.
True.
Well, why do you think every time before we record the podcast, I mute my camera for 2 minutes? I got to clean this up, dude. You think my pillow looks this bad normally? It's like this. I had cards all sprawn out. I was looking through my bulk for silver.
He has to get rid of that pillow. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta turn the yellow side of the pillow.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't expose myself like that.
He has the stream acceptable pillow and then the stream not acceptable pillow.
I don't want to see that pillow.
Oh, is the stream not acceptable one with the waifus on it?
All right, you've gone too far, man. Also, is the thing on the back of your wall, Cody, that I forget the name of it, something about Horse of Victor. I feel like it's going to come off someday.
Oh,
is it peeling on the top right, or is it just me?
Oh, it's peeling.
Okay.
It's just some tape up there.
So someday in the middle of a podcast, it's just going to be raining horses.
Maybe.
Okay. I can't wait.
We'll
Episode 280. It'll be the horse hit the ground. You'll finally get mad enough, bang your desk, and boom, horse down. Okay, all the serious stuff aside, we can continue.
Yep.
LSF says that you're banned from playing next ProQuest season. Also, if you win one, that's when he bangs on the desk. He's like, "They've gone too far. I'm going full-time Riftbound."
They did
that actually, by the way?
Yeah, they did hardcore double down on that.
Yeah.
And apparently it's overwhelmingly positive that the community wants people who win events to not be able to play at their events.
So I offered Fino, I was messaging him this earlier, that because they clarified how qualifying for basically every tournament going forward will work, I think it's at least a little bit better in a sense of a player looking to play in every single tier 4. I now know that I don't need to go super hard of like winning these tournaments. I don't know. It feels like it probably had the opposite impact for someone who knows that they're going to qualify anyway, of like, now why would I ever get first place? Because I know I'm qualified anyway and I just want to play all the weeks. So it improved the fact that because there's no more ELO, I'm incentivized to keep playing the tournaments because I can't just bleed myself out of the top 75. But then also I should just never win one until the last week because I'm already qualified off of it. This is theoretical. I'm not saying I in the sense of me, but I in the sense of a person who's already qualified based off of World Tour points. Why would you ever win one ProQuest when you could just play the whole season if you enjoy playing the game?
I agree. I mean, I just want to go to local stores and play in tournaments.
Yeah, I just love playing tournaments. Like
Yeah,
that's
it.
That's it. So
And
like,
I like our stores.
yeah,
I liked visiting them. It's cool, like going to every store. You see their little community there as well, and then the other people who travel, and it's like a community event that's also fun and competitive. It's everything wrapped together. There's usually decent pricing, at least in my area. I know I'm lucky in that aspect, but it's just like this is part of playing card games. This is why I enjoy playing card games. It's like the local weekend, like go to this event. I'm mapping out to go to this event, and then you do that, and you go to with all your friends, and you do all the things. Like that's part of why we play the card game. And like to tell people you can't do that, you're not big enough, I think, to be able to make that.
I don't think that's
decision.
actually what they're. I mean, they're saying that for some people, but I think they're basically saying that like if you're someone who wants to qualify for the Pro Tour, this season is about you play as many events as it takes to earn that invite to the Pro Tour. And if you're someone who's already qualified, then the whole season is just not for you. Like if you're already in like the auto qualification based on World Tour points, then like whatever, you don't play in the season. If you play in the season, cool. If you don't play in the season, it's whatever. That's basically just the stance that I think they're going to take for forever. So I'm at least glad that that's clarified. Okay, that's just how ProQuest seasons are going to be now.
Sure, but I still want to play. Like,
but you can play. It's very simple. Like you just go to the finals, click I lose, and then you play next week.
I'm aware, but that's not what they're intending to have happen.
I think it is based on what they said here. It's clear that they're just okay with that.
That is not what they want. That is not what they want. That is you seeing the system is broken and finding a loophole.
No, but I'm saying the population that would do what I'm saying is only the people who are qualified on World Tour points, and I don't think they care enough about that population at ProQuest level. It's like 0.01%.
I don't know.
So, but like this whole system is we're making policy to affect less than 1% of the total community to improve the experience of an even smaller portion of the community, because this only positively impacts people that would have gotten second place at a ProQuest when someone got first place that has already won a previous one. So affects 0 people week 1. And then it only matters for the rest of the season if someone goes back-to-back wins. And then only positively impacts the second place person. No, not the second place person. The third place person, I guess, right? Because it already passes down 1 seat. So the amount of people this impacts has to be like literally counted on one hand.
But so I think there's a difference, because you have to remember, like the game being worldwide, that there's quite a drastic variety in the amount of people in a local scene. Where like if a local scene has 3 ProQuests among the 6 weeks that are within like a, let's say, 2-hour drive, there's like 3 ProQuests you can go to in 6 weeks, and each one is going to have 16 or fewer players, where there's maybe like 1 or 2 players that are like people who go to all the tier 4s that are like the real grinders, and the rest are just like hopefuls that like, oh yeah, like maybe if I qualified I would go, otherwise there's no chance I would ever go. I think it does help in those areas.
What you have, going by exactly what you described, this policy change impacts 1 person. Like actually one person.
I agree. But that one person is made,
in the scenario that the next on the 3rd week, that first and second place are the people that won the previous 2 weeks. So this impacts 1 person in that scenario that the 3rd one is first and second.
And now that's 1 extra person who gets to go to the Pro Tour. Like that's 1 extra person whose like dreams are made.
Or you just make the invite pass down. Like I don't understand. You just make the invite pass down. It's so not deep. Just like let it pass down further.
I do think
if the point is more invites, you just let it pass down.
Yeah, but I think you're missing that it does affect everyone in Swiss, because you have to play against a player who would not be there. So it is impacting technically more people if they were to beat you, which is like a weird timeline. But they claimed some data that I personally did not see as accurate. They said this was the biggest turnout they've ever had for PQs. Every PQ I went to is the smallest they've ever been.
Yeah.
I have the player data for mine. Hold on, let me pull it up. I think almost all of mine were about 20 people. And like our area usually has like pretty big turnouts.
We had one that was above 30, I think, but then the rest were in the 20s, yeah.
Mine were literally 20s and 30s, and they're normally like 40s and 50s.
Yeah, I played in one that was like 40 something people, and then the other 2 I played in, one was like sub 20 when it's generally above 20, and then another one was sub 20 and is generally above 20.
So I don't know if they're saying per event was higher, or they just said we had more people go to events because there was more events across the world. Like it's, I don't know, it's kind of like weird languaging. Like this is the biggest turnout we've ever had per event. Cause like I can count specifically one event that I know of that because one person had qualified, they didn't bring a carload of people to one of the events. There's just like 5 less people at one of my events because they qualified. They were the driver. So like no one else got to go.
You know, it'd be amazing if they clarified this in more than 4 lines of a tweet. Instead, it was a dev talk on youtube.com. That would be sick.
Yeah, maybe in October would have been a good time to do that.
Yeah. Even November, I'll take it, man. We got 5 more days in November, or 4 whenever this is posted. 4 more days in November.
Okay, I have the player counts.
I'm
not going to name
with your turkey and stuff. Oh, I guess it's New Zealand. Never mind. Okay, continue.
Okay, I'm not going to name stores for any of this. I'm just here's the player counts. If people actually care, I have the spreadsheet and I can show you. If you can DM me for a link. 31, 14, 13, 23, 22, 25, 35, 20, 22, 36, 16, and then I forgot to plug in the data for the last 2, but I have them in a DM somewhere. I gotta still put in.
Yeah.
Not that big of ProQuest for a lot of them. A couple of them were bigger. It was basically like the Saturday ones for a number of them were bigger, but I would say almost all of our, and this was with there being no draft. Usually it's the draft ones that are small in my area. All of them are CC. So I don't really see much of a reason for us to be having 20 player ProQuests in our area unless there's some weird factor. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just confused by the data that says it was the biggest turnout they ever had. I feel like they're just like, we had more ProQuests than ever before, and the aggregate data says that more people attended, but individually at each store, there were less people. In my experience, every single store I went to was less than normal. So
I also think like going by that data is kind of scuffed of the poll they did. It's like a survivorship bias type of thing of, well, yeah, of course the people are saying that they like it because it didn't negatively impact them. I'm sure the people that weren't allowed to play more ProQuests hit the no, I don't like this button. Yeah. But of all the people that hit yes on that, how many of them did this actually have a positive impact on, right? Like,
also, how many of them went to more, the real question is how many of them went to more PQs because of this change? Because that's actually what matters. It doesn't matter how they feel about it. It's just like, did this noticeably make you do something you normally wouldn't have done? Because if it didn't make them do a new action, then it doesn't matter. It's like, literally, it's just like a change that doesn't matter. It has to have tangible positive results, and the positive results are more people go to events. That's what it has to have.
Well, I guess you can't really know that impact until we get to Yokohama, right? Because it's like more people got invites, and therefore more people should attend the big tournament.
We'll see.
It's so goofy. It feels like getting punished because Singapore was unpopular. Oh my god, not enough people showed up to this. How do we fix this? It's like, I can't believe I'm getting punished for that event having a poor turnout.
It couldn't have been because Singapore was very expensive. Couldn't have been that.
Yeah, like I was qualified and I didn't go. I was like, I'm not spending over $1,000 on a flight. And how much for a hotel? I sleep.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do some podcast questions.
It's okay. I spent enough for the both of us.
You're a double. That was the one that you're double hoteled up, right?
Indeed, yeah. It's okay, man.
Wait, did you tell that story on pod?
I've already told this story. It's okay. People know.
This story's been told.
People know that I lost $1 million.
Yeah. Okay, next is going to be our podcast questions. These are asked by premium members of our Metafy. If you'd like to be able to ask questions on the podcast or get the 3 new deck lists that are coming out, which is going to be Connor's Dio list with sideboards. It's going to be my KO list that I played with sideboards. And then we will also be putting out Lucas's Verdance list with sideboards. This is going to be for our Gilded tier members going out this month.
Wait. There's a very important distinction. Is it Connor's CC Dio or LL Dio? One of these had a significantly better win rate.
The CC Dio list. The undefeated Dio at Worlds. But if you'd like to get those, any of the future deck lists or any of the past deck lists that we put out, feel free to join in the link below. First question here is going to be from Fighting Walloon. It says, when you think about moments in games where both players are locked in and invested in the results of a game action, is there anything that rivals the activation resolution of scab skin leathers?
I mean, Brute definitely takes the cake on almost all the things, right? Of just like the crazy hype moments. I was thinking about this question, and I think there's two other instances. Y'all can ruminate on it for a second while I spew mine. But another one is like a key victor clash, where like you're a deck where you have a chance of winning. Like you have some 6s or 7s in your deck, and like, okay, like if I win here, he doesn't draw the he doesn't like Test of Iron grip me. I get to keep my hand. I can like win the game, right? Or he doesn't draw the card off Test of Strength to let him block and survive, and then I lose, kind of thing. So that's one. Another one is one of my favorites. Is like it comes up usually when I'm playing a deck that reasonably has all 3 colors of cards, and my opponent's attacking me with Prognosis, and I'm like, okay, my hand plays off of like I can pitch a yellow to cast my red, so let me like block with my blue, and then just hope they hit a blue on the top. That's another like pretty hype moment of like, okay, I think I'm playing to my out here of this card being something that like can be a very high swing, play either way, and both of us are invested. My opponent doesn't know what's happening, of like it's kind of a weird block to like block 3 on a Prognosis, but I'm like, okay, like I'm respecting the fact you could have no pump, and if you have 1 pump, then I have some counterplay of like you hit the wrong color. So I think Assassin and Brute and Clash cards in general are like my 3 things of like when I think I'm like the most amped of like some RNG event. It's like a quick time event, is like what's gonna be the resolution here.
I have an active time event that I can tell you about in a second, but do you guys have shorter answers?
No, it's just chain shackles and then chart quite often.
Chart. Oh my gosh, chart. Why'd you say that, man? That's the worst. My opponent plays chart, and I'm like, conqueror, please.
I had 2 different games where I blind chart, and it's back alley dude, and I'm just like, yes. My deck was built to do this.
Skilled gamer.
Yes.
Go ahead, Fino.
I have an anecdote of the only time that I had a good moment of this. This is at calling Charlotte against Josh Lau. This is my Wet Kiss Dory story. I'm playing Dromai. He's playing Dory, and we're kind of near the end of the game, and he's like in a really bad spot. He needs to connect, otherwise he loses the game instantly. I have like the Swarm of Dragons in play. He's getting low. There's no way this game continues if he doesn't connect. So he goes Valor, Supremacy, and then attacks. I block. He plays another pump over the top. I play a D-Reactor on top of his pump, and then he tanks. And then he starts looking through all these things. He's kind of muttering to himself, this, and like it's kind of clear to me he's got a singing steel blade. And I'm like, Josh, you have a singing? And he's like, yeah. So then we start talking about what the different options are, and I start kind of going through the lines with him. I'm looking. Do you have another route that you could get? And he's like, no. I only boarded in 1 in this matchup. The other 2 are on my side. Okay. How many twinnings do you have left? And I'm just like going through all the different things with him, and we come to the determination. The only way he can win this game is he grabs a glint and then draws the 1 twinning from his deck off of the glint. So he goes for that line, plays it, shuffles the deck, presents it back to me, and I'm like, you want me to give the deck a wet kiss for good luck? And he's like, what? No, just give it a normal cut. I'm like, wet kiss or nothing. He's like, okay, fine. Ethan from the crowd, we have spawned an audience during this. Ethan from the crowd comes over and he's like, Fino, I got you. And he just like hands me a water bottle to wet my lips before this. And I'm like, okay, thanks. Take a swig, pull down my face mask, sloppy kiss on the top of the deck. And then I'm like, all right, do you want to flip it together? I give him the sloppy wet kiss. Do you want to flip it together? And we both grab a different corner of the card and flip it together. It's the twinning. He's like, oh my god, oh, I can't believe it. Twinning. Armor, D-react. And he's like, you had it the whole time? Yes, I just wanted to give you hope so I could take it from you. His entire soul just left his body. I saw him later on in the day. He's just like walking around like a zombie, and I'm curious like how he did in the event. And I'm like, Josh, wet kiss Dory. And he just turns around and just gives me the biggest glare. But he was just a zombie after that. It was hilarious. But yeah, that was
That was a great
That's
story.
your locked in moment.
Yeah.
Wet kisses.
Perfect. Wardo77 says flavor text challenge. Those blessed with Aether have an incredible gift, the power to shape the fabric of reality.
Wait, we're sponsored by Fabric now?
Oh,
I got nothing. I lose. I'm deceased.
I don't think I've ever read a Flesh and Blood flavor text, like ever. So
They're blessed with the Aether.
is it the card that like makes 3 spectrals, like the really bad one that like at the
No,
beginning
no,
of your
it
turn
says the
pops?
hint is
No.
WTR generic common.
Okay, I didn't look at the
Oh,
hint yet.
wow.
So
This
haven't
seems
gotten
like
there
it's a like Sink Below on the low key, but it's embarrassing that I don't know the flavor text of Sink Below.
I didn't even know Sing Below had flavor text.
I know it has flavor text. I don't know any words of it. I can picture on the card like the line and then like 2 lines of text. I have some cards on my desk, but none of them are from WTR, so I'm a little bit stumped.
I don't know. I don't know
You know what?
WTR.
I thought of it the first part was that card that like we thought was going to be busted in Enigma, and then it wasn't because they changed how like ward and the attack thing works.
I know which one you're talking about.
I don't know the name of the card.
I forget the name of it.
I'm gonna throw out
too.
a guess. Nimbleism.
Nimbleism. Okay.
I'm gonna.
I like
That's my
Nimbleism.
guess.
Wow, that's kind of fire. Okay, I'm saying Sink Below, but I have no idea. I just know Sink Below has flavor text. That's why I'm saying it.
Okay. Are you ready
I
for
clicked on it. I'm
solution?
wrong. I'm dead.
Oh,
I lose.
it's Sync Below.
Oh my gosh. I remember
There you
Sink
go.
Below having flavor text because I just beat like I'm so satisfied when I have it. I also had a terrible bad beat I was telling Jason about before we were recording of how I discarded 2 Sink Belows to a yellow winner's bite because I'm a complete idiot. And yeah, I had a long hard look at the flavor text when I just discarded them to winner's bite.
Dagger asks, what do you think about the RTN season qualification and the change with the XP to qualify?
I made a tweet the other day about this, being like, "See, I'm not always negative. I have positive things to say about an LSS decision," which is immediately followed, not even 24 hours later, by the "you're banned from ProQuests again." But you know, that's a separate thing. I've been saying for like 2 years now that they needed to go to a system like this, where it's you're rewarded for consistently doing well at qualifier events. You can't just go farm armories, do well at that season, and you'll get your invite. Because realistically, if you top like every single local qualifier, but just miss out on your invite every single time, that probably means that you deserve a seat at that event. Like, you consistently performed all season. You should go. You deserve to be there. Because I think these systems should reward consistency over spiking events.
Do you want to share with the class what the change is?
So it's basically still checking your XP, but it's only checking the XP gained through these qualifier events. So the XP you gained from Road to Nationals will be tallied up at the end of the season, and then you can gain your invite from that XP. It's not going to look at your XP from anything else, though. It's kind of like a pro points style thing like Magic used to have, I believe, or Planeswalker points, whatever the hell that was called.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I really like this. Like, I may poo-poo on the ProQuest changes, but like, I want people to get invites. The problem I have with that is I want to play the game. The system change disincentivizes people from playing the game. This system change incentivizes people to play the game and gives out more invites to people that deserve them.
Yeah, you
If
can
you do well all season, you deserve an invite.
you can gold foil farm in RTNs.
Oh,
I
don't say
think
that. We'll
that's
get canceled.
if you give people more avenues to qualify for tournaments and you encourage them to play the game more, it's positive. And then you just have to make sure that you don't give any like perverse incentive to no life the game and only play. I think if you make that balance, then you've achieved the ideal system.
The only problem I have with the system, which is not like an inherent problem of the system, it's just its reality, and I don't know any way to fix this, is this disproportionately rewards players that have more events that they can physically go to.
Yeah.
But there's nothing you can do. But like people that have the ability to go to more events are always going to have more opportunities to get an invite. So like if there's only one in your area, what are they going to do to improve that person's ability to get an invite? Disproportionately give more XP based on the radius of events based on your zip code? Like, there's nothing you can like realistically do to help that kind of person. It is what it is.
Okay, second question here is thoughts on the PQ Las Vegas qualification being the same as PQ Yokohama. And isn't that not accurate?
It is. He's just talking about what we've talked about the whole podcast of like how you can't play anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like the World Tour points move, so it's not the same World Tour.
Yeah,
points.
the RTN changes are like pretty new to like this season, but the PQ changes from Singapore are the same or the PQ changes for Yokohama will be the same for Vegas.
I do kind of wish that they had like some sort of ladder reset on the World Tour points, because it's kind of silly to have like people qualifying based on something that they didn't even know that they were playing for. But like,
yeah,
whatever. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. I don't really care.
Is it not just going to reset at the start of the year? Or are they just going to keep going?
It slides, as far as I'm aware.
That seems silly, but...
Yeah, it's like a 3-season slide, so like...
Oh,
when
sure.
you get the new season, it slides the back end off, and then eventually
like basically every time a new
but...
set comes out, it slides.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like really care, but like that's like a little goofy, but like whatever. Of all the things to complain about, that's like so low on the list of things to give a shit about.
Predictions on other reprints in the Compendium of Wraith set.
They've said it's going to be it's primarily generics, right? I'm pretty sure it said it was they were just reprinting a bunch of like generics.
Okay.
So I think we saw and it looks like they're doing all new art for everything. I think we saw like an alt art Easter egg that looked pretty cool. I assume it's Easter egg. It's the buff cloud guy. I would assume CNC will probably be in there. The Arcane Rising version is like low-ish. They're like $68, $70, but the hunted ones are like $100.
Do you think they'll downprint any Majestics that are pretty suck to like make them playable on stage?
That'd be kind of cool. I hadn't actually considered that. Magic did that for a while, where they would like downtick M's to R's and R's to C's for like Popper.
Oh God, what was that common that broke Popper like a few years back?
Was it any Tron Land?
No, it was some like blue card. I'm spacing on what it was though. I want to say it was the thing that untaps lands when you play it, like the 5-mana guy that untaps 5 lands.
Peregrine Drake?
I might be misremembering. Peregrine Drake?
Hmm.
I feel like that was one of the ones, and then that was busted.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I can think of a bunch of M's that exist in FAB now that are like whatever. Like it doesn't even necessarily matter that it's an M. It could exist in Silver Age. Did someone just rip ass, by the way?
I heard that too. I made a face. I was like, I'm just not gonna say anything.
I think it was just my chair, but
okay.
Yeah, yeah. See.
no, but I like Tome of the Arknight. Like that'd be fun to have in there. I got to play with that card during Worlds, and I want to continue to play with that card now. I think.
No,
that's definitely not what we need in Silver Age.
It's perfect. It's perfect for Silver Age.
Yeah,
Foxman asks, for the rest of your life, would you rather fight a silverback gorilla once a year or have a chicken spawn every time you get into a car? This is like the most obvious answer. And if you just want a chicken to spawn every time you get in the car,
because you would die the first time you fought the gorilla.
I was like, you want me to fight a silverback gorilla?
This is a great excuse for me to get into shape and start riding a bike.
No, this is free money.
You can ride a bike.
You're thinking about it wrong. It didn't say you have to fight a chicken every time you get in a car.
Yeah.
When you get in a car, a chicken just spawns. Then you go sell the chicken. It's just infinite money.
Yeah,
for
you're
the
just
Yeah.
Like-
You just eat for free every day.
you have infinite omelets. Like what?
Dude, people
no,
spend
what
their
if it's
whole
the same
lives
chicken?
raising chicken. You
Wait, it might be the same chicken respawning.
That's fine.
perfect. You sell it,
Oh.
then you get in a car, and
You
then
eat
you
so
get
many enemies. Like people run at you. Like, wait, no, you sold me a pooping chicken.
Yeah, but it's like I fight the silverback gorilla once, I'm just dead forever. Like there's no once a year. It's you're done.
Yeah, once a life.
Can
sure.
I choose? Can this be multiple answer? Can I choose both and get an army of chickens when I fight the gorilla?
You can also
It'll
prank
go
people
Zelda
super
style.
hard,
He hits one chicken, they just all swarm him.
because they didn't specify whose car. So like you could just prank someone of just like, oh, let me get your keys real quick. You know, just spawn 10,000 chickens in their car.
I mean, you would have a show on Vegas. You would have like one trick. It would just be getting in a car and a chicken appearing. But like it would happen. It would be so unprovable of what was happening that like everyone would go and see your show in Vegas. I don't know. You just stood on there for an hour and they spawned 1,000 chickens. It was insane.
Well, you
Every
could
audience
also-
member
also,
goes home with the chicken.
you could
Every-
also, you could
everyone
also
gets a
be on
chicken.
a stage at Vegas and fist fight a silverback gorilla. And if you win, you're just a legend. If you lose, it's expected.
I don't
You're
know.
still
One of
a
these is a negative. One of these is a great positive.
Yeah, true.
Gambling.
I think the
Gambling.
only neg is if they make it such that the chicken is like an ephemeral chicken. Like it doesn't actually exist. It just like is a clucking specter that like clucks at you. That would be bad.
Or if the chicken was the size of a silverback gorilla.
Why? You could just sell tickets to your car. It's a haunted car with a haunted chicken in it.
No, but it only haunts you, is what
Silverback
I'm
chickens.
saying. Like no one else gets to know that you have a chicken in your car. They just think you're a crazy person who's like, a chicken is spawning in my car.
I like
Once
that
again,
one.
just learn how to ride a bike, man.
Yeah, true.
Lose weight. Go to Japan. Live in Japan. That's your excuse to go live in Japan. You don't need to own a car.
Is that how you beat a silverback gorilla?
Skabichi asks, what are some strong card interactions, play lines you found in Silver Age? I swear, I'm gonna have to go back through this, but I feel like every time Skabichi asks a question, it's just like, what is good? What should I play? What is the best deck in the format?
That is 100%
He had a couple
correct.
goofy
These
ones.
are the questions that he asks me, and I can't give him an answer. So he's like, you know what? Let me consult the experts. And then he asks the four of us as a whole to give him the secrets.
I don't know. I've never played a single game of Silver Age.
Activating Bravo's hero power while there is a card with Crush in your arsenal is pretty good. Blocking with the Confidence Hat and Pleiades after when you're about to pop a bunch of Suspensors. That's been pretty good.
You've talked
Is
so
there
much
any,
about Pleiades. I just cannot imagine the universe that deck is playable.
Evasive damage. It's pretty good, it turns out, in a low health format.
They just put these things in play, and then I send them to hell before they resolve.
Yeah, I think Pleiades is completely sucked, but
Yeah, she's
maybe if
like
you're playing another slow deck, it's like
Yeah,
I'm on
yeah.
0 games of the format. I'm just like thinking in theory, like
into like an aggro deck. Like she's not very good, but yeah, if you're playing any Guardian Mirror, you're in a pretty good spot. Strong play lines in the format. I think playing the RuneGate Chain deck feels a lot like playing RuneGate Chain in LL. Like obviously a little worse, but
RuneGate Chain feels like RuneGate Chain.
well, no. I mean, like it doesn't feel like that toned down power level wise. I guess is what I mean.
yeah. I think just like
Drew, you're only
you get to play a lot of play lines that were things you did in limited that are just now better because they're way more consistent. Given that you don't have to worry about drafting the cards, you just like have them all. Like doing Bloodsworn Bodice with cussing. The fact that you have like Ebb and Fold is like the staple hat and chain now. That's just like a crazy like consistency piece that you have access to of just a short game. You know, you're basically getting to pay one to Pot of Greed.
Yeah, we never really had a chance to play Dusk Till Dawn limited ever. I think like the world the premiere events, maybe you got to mix in some packs, but I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. Another cool play line is giving your opponent things, like I was mentioning earlier with Guardian, where if you give your opponent any aura token, you can play Renounce Grandeur is now a 3-for-8. It's pretty cool. Like you give them a present. Same thing with Down But Not Out. If you have any way of like giving them a present, and then you can just turn on your abilities of opponent needs to have a token, but you're playing with yourself in that regard. You're giving them the token and then you're getting the benefit. Yeah, I think that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Mike at Blockout Party says, how many cards names contain the word blessing?
Well, there's one for every class in Dynasty.
Yeah. It's Blessing of Aether, Blessing of Savagery, Blessing of Occult.
Yep.
Blessing of Serenity, the Guardian one.
Focus.
Blessing of Focus, that's 5. What's the one
And we don't need to actually know the names of them. We just need to know that there's one for each class, right?
What's the one where you gain 3? That's something.
The Guardian one.
Yeah.
The Guardian one.
There's just 2 Guardian ones
there?
because there's the instant Guardian one.
The WTR one.
Yeah, that's Serenity. So we're at 6 so far. Are there any ones that crazily have blessing in the middle?
Count your blessings.
Oh wait, is there an assassin
count your
one
blessings.
Dynasty?
Count your blessings.
Is there an assassin blessing? I don't think so.
There's a blessing of Vincerikai, isn't there?
Yeah.
Blessing of Vincerikai? Yeah, that sounds like a card. Okay, so we got 8 so far.
And the Zen one doesn't have blessings in it, right? The Crouching Tiger making one.
Ooh.
I don't think it does.
It could. We should just say it does.
If it came from Dynasty, it has blessing. Like that whole cycle said blessing.
Blessing of Chi. That's definitely a card.
Is that? Okay, is that the
That
one?
has to be a card, yeah. So we're at 8. Should we just say 9 because we're missing one?
Did you say Ingenuity?
Oh,
Ingenuity, what is that?
Blessing of Ingenuity.
It's just there's one for every class in Dynasty. It's not that deep.
I see.
We don't need to know the names.
But you're knowing the names. You stay knowing.
So
Okay, so
are
we
we
have
saying
9.
The 4 WTR like classes, the 4 Arcane Rising ones, so that's 8, and then there's Illusionist as a 9th one. And I think that's it because it was Illusionist and an Assassin, I believe, were the only 2 classes that came out between that time period, and I don't think Assassin had one. So there's 9 from that set. CYB, the 10, Blessing of Vincerikai, 11. Anything else? Probably
Okay,
more.
11, yeah, send it.
Oh, wait, there's
11?
the WTR one that you mentioned.
I think that was included already. Let's just say 11.
I think it's more than that.
It's 14.
Oh, wow.
Blessing of the Occult, Patience, Spirits, Steel, Savagery, Ingenuity, Aether, Focus, Deliverance, Key, Salvation, Serenity, Vincerikai, and CYB.
Blessing of Steel, what is that?
I think
That's the Warrior one.
Oh.
Dynasty.
Womp
Like
womp.
I said, don't need to know the names, just need to know they exist.
true.
You have said that many times, yeah.
Yeah. The Orc Knight says, balance the Sage format. Cannot do it.
Release pen. I don't know.
Yeah, I said before, like you just have to tone down some of the Snatch as a card, tone down some of the cards that say Rune Chain on them because they're too good, and maybe
Probably just ban Chain.
Yeah, or just ban Chain entirely, and then make some AB pieces that don't feel so bad to play. Boom, balanced.
Done.
We've done it.
Wait, we never talked about the player voting thing. Or did we talk about that last week?
It's been mentioned.
Hmm.
But
I think
I don't know. We'll
until
see.
we get more information, I think it's like whatever at this point.
No.
Unless you have something to say. Speak your
I'm sure
truth.
we'll be banning Betsy or whatever the meme deck is.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. Until
Professor
they give us more
Tekla.
info on the voting process, I think it's kind of too early to speculate.
I just think it's kind of goofy to have players balancing the format, but we'll see.
Yeah, could be great, could be terrible. Who knows? Well, with that said, I think it's time to get out of here. I have Riftbound to practice, so I gotta go.
Goodbye.